I think I can speak for any number of Badger fans where you can say finally the games are about to begin as Paul Chryst and the Wisconsin Badgers get ready for Friday night season opener under the lights here at Camp Randall Stadium. 8 o'clock kickoff on Friday evening against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Training camp is over. Game week begins. We'll get a review from the head coach on the offense and the defense, getting his guys ready for this season. We'll also get up close with Jonathan Taylor, one of the best running backs in all of college football, coming off a record-breaking freshman year and looking to build on that in 2018. All that and more coming up on our first installment this sports season of the Badger Sports Report.
Ready, go!
I think it's important to have fun, but while you're having fun, you got to learn how to be a professional about how to handle business, which is also taking care of the details, making sure we're getting better, not making the same mistakes over and over. Crucial for the older guys to set that standard. I know what I'm doing a little bit more now. TJ, the older guys, they know what they're doing. I just think it's really important that we set the standard.
Pockets tight, ball's tipped in the air, picked off by TJ Edwards, and he's all alone. In zone, it is caught for the touchdown. To the 20, to the 10, 5, touchdown Wisconsin. Pressure, and he is sacked just outside the goal line. A big, big win for the Wisconsin Badgers.
The Badger Sports Report with Paul Chryst is presented by Audi. Drive yours at Zimbrick European. And UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
It's Nissan's Bottom Line Model Year-End event. Get big clearance savings on the last of our 2018s, like Rogue, with available Pro Pilot Assist.
Get a low $199 per month lease on Rogue, or get 0% financing for 60 months on 13 models.
But hurry, the Bottom Line and our 2018s are almost gone.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
This is Lepay, the spirit of Wisconsin. Eddie feels it. Kim embraces it. Even brother and sister get along. Friendship, warmth, and good cheer. That's Lepay, and that's Wisconsin.
Your testimony will save lives. This is your new name. This is your new house and a perfectly inconspicuous SUV. You must become invisible.
I'll take my chances.
The reimagined Audi Q5 is here. Lease the Audi Q5 for $459 per month, and Audi waives your first payment.
This is where amazing happens, where ideas turn into realities. This is where they developed a better way to observe blood flow, a better way to visualize pediatric heart surgeries before they even happen. You see, at UW Health and the American Family Children's Hospital, they're not just changing the lives of their patients, they're changing the way the world treats complex pediatric conditions. UW Health. Remarkable.
Breaks through, he's gone. 40, 30, touchdown Wisconsin.
We haven't won any games this year. We haven't lost any games this year. So it's a clean slate, and it's a chance, a new opportunity, to make a very special season happen.
It's here, game week, as the Wisconsin Badgers get ready to open the 2018 football season, hosting Western Kentucky on Friday night, 8 o'clock kick here at the stadium. And as we record this edition of the show, the training camp portion, I guess, has ended. Now it's into game prep. Paul, as your guys went through the camp portion, did you see what you needed to for the most part? And I guess I would add to the leadership. You've got your captains, you've got some veteran guys here. Have they been able to show the way to your younger guys?
No doubt, and that part I feel that camp was successful, and
it took on a little bit different flow this year, less practice days, and then kind of where guys were at with injuries and whatnot. There was some inconsistency of units, but really everyone did get themselves ready. And I'm excited for game week. I'm glad. I think the kids are ready for it. I think we accomplished a lot, and it's so good for that. There's kind of different tiers as you go through camp, and you've got a group that's played a lot of football, and they got to make sure that they're back into football shape. And a number of them missed spring football, and so just they were using the term just knocking some rust off. And then I think there's that component, and then you want to get into being game ready. And so we still got to take advantage of the preparation time that we have before the first game, and quite honestly, it goes throughout the season. And then there's another group that, the light's starting to come on. I thought there was tremendous growth with that group, and then there's another group of real young players that just kept consistently doing it over and over, and I think have earned the right to be on the travel squad and to play significant roles.
Well, clearly the experience, you have more of it on the offensive side. Beginning with the offensive line, it kind of goes back to your point about some guys knocking off the rust. You have a lot of experience with that offensive line. They're getting a lot of publicity. They seem like the kind of guys who can handle it. But you do have some guys up there who did not participate in the spring, so I guess that's who you're talking about first and foremost, knocking off some rust.
No doubt, Michael Dieter and Bo Benchwell and David Edwards played a lot of football and really good football, and yet, all three of them missed spring, and then, Bo and David missed some time in camp, and so really wasn't until the last few days where we had a chance to have that group working together, and, it was good. It was a great opportunity for other players, and so I like where they're at right now, but we still do have to, and you could take it with the offensive line or everyone, we still got some work to do, and that's, you never stop working to get better, and certainly the games are coming. I think no question that we're ready for the game to be here, and yet we just got to keep going, and as far as the other part, they know, they've earned, there's a reason they got recognition, but they know that it's about what we do now, and that's it's a good challenge for him.
When fans last saw Alex Hornibrook, he was the MVP of the Orange Bowl. Terrific game, the 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. And he mentioned, we may have visited on this last April, he said, okay, now let's do it again and again. What have you liked about him, the whole growth of Alex at the position, maybe the total package of being a college athlete?
Yeah, I really think it does fall into that total package, total growth, and it's been with such purpose. And I was excited to see, when we voted for captains, you got 3 captains that were captains last year when we had more captains, obviously, than Alex, being the 4th captain, and I think that certainly there's a great respect, and it's from recognition of knowing what he's doing for this team, and I've loved the way that he's approached, really every part of this, whether it was the winter conditioning or spring football, summer, and now fall camp, and so I think, he's in a good spot that way. I've been impressed with what the camp that Jack Cohn has had, and I think he's taken big strides. And you forget last year he was a true freshman, and now it's starting to make sense to him. And so I think he's done a good job. So I like where we're at with the quarterback spot right now.
Get to the wide receiver positions. As we tape this show, there are a couple of young men in the rotation will not be participating here to begin the season, but a couple of others will. And then some young guys, too. I know that there had been excitement about if it's an Eric Cruikshank, Taj Mustafa to begin with. Those are just a couple of names. Have you seen some of these younger guys start to emerge a little bit in camp?
We have, and I think that's what's, there are opportunities for, Adam Krumholz and Jack Dunn, who played in games, last year, and we went through the kind of the injury situation. And you're going to start with that group and love what, AJ and Kendrick have been doing and how they've been doing it. And then there's a group, really a large group of young receivers, and Aaron Cruikshank and Taj Mustafa were here in the spring, so I think they had a little bit of a jump on the other guys, but they bring some talent to it. Now we just got to help them and understand where and what and how they fit into it. But I've liked that group, and they'll continue to grow, and it's not much different when you get any young position group. They do enough and have kind of earned the right. What I've been impressed with, that whole kind of second-tier group has done a great job of jumping in on special teams, and I think they got a chance to impact that as well.
Less than a minute here. We'll hear more from Jonathan Taylor on today's show. Behind him, Taiwan Dio, Chris James, etc., Nikhil Watson, excuse me. What have you seen from that bunch in camp?
I've liked it, and it does start with JT, and I think his purpose and approach, and Garrett Groshek's the guy that missed spring, and I think he's been just what you'd want out of that. And I think Taiwan Deal, and his biggest thing has been staying healthy, and knock on wood, he is healthy, and I think he had a really good camp, and so you're getting some of that depth, and so I like where that position's at, and then you add Alec Ingold into that room. It's a good room, I think.
Yeah, the tight end group that could be very good again. Troy Fumagalli in the NFL, but some good young talent in Jake Ferguson, guys who've been around, Kyle Peniston, as well as Xander Neville coming back from injury, just to name a couple. So a pretty good group there as well. We'll continue our preview look at the Wisconsin Badgers. We'll focus on the defense as today's show continues.
Ever since she can remember, she's wanted to become a doctor, a surgeon to be exact. Maybe it's because she's good at science, or because she loves math, or maybe it's because Lydia was born with a serious craniofacial anomaly, a cleft lip and palate that required a series of complex surgeries, and now she just wants to help others, just like the surgeons at UW Health helped her. UW Health and the American Family Children's Hospital. Remarkable.
I feel good, especially it being my last go at it. It's exciting, to be one of those older guys now. It's a little different, but no, I'm very excited.
We continue our season preview look at the Wisconsin Badgers. We focused on the offense. Now let's turn it to the defense. It's been one of the best defenses in college football these last few years. A lot of new starters, but that doesn't necessarily mean a lot of guys who haven't played. Some will be getting their first taste. We mentioned the leadership, and this is where a Dakota Dixon, a TJ Edwards, a Leve, they really become big. Not just what they do with their own talent, but maybe bringing these younger guys along.
There's no doubt, and I think you throw in Ryan Connolly in that, and Chris Orr. That inside linebacker position's got a lot to it, and certainly what Dakota brings, not just to our defense, to our team, and Olive, and that's where we're probably in the up front. Our D line is where you've got the most inexperience, and yet you got a heck of an anchor in Olive, and loved what Lyles and Henningsen have been doing, and I also David Pfaff has gotten better, and it was good. The last part of camp we're starting to get Isaiah Loudermilk to start getting some work, but when you got Olive kind of anchoring that group, you have a tendency to feel pretty good, and the other guys have kind of taken the bit, and they're working and getting better, and their growth will be exponentially probably more than others because they haven't played a lot.
You mentioned Kaden Lyles. That's been, I guess, probably the name that has gotten the most publicity. Very gifted offensive lineman. He comes over for this season. In talking to him, and I think you mentioned the same thing, he is all in. He knows this is a great opportunity for him this year, right?
It is something, and you're right. I mean, he truly is all in on this, and I think a big part of it is whatever he can do to help this team. And you said it earlier, he is a heck of an offensive lineman. It's not like he wasn't going to play on offense, but with once Garrett got hurt and kind of where Isaiah was, it was an opportunity. And what I've been impressed with Kaden is he's truly into the moment, and he's putting all he can into it, and taking the time, and it's starting to feel more and more comfortable with it, and which makes sense. I mean, he wasn't, and he's got an idea of what's happening. Talking about just in block recognition, and he knows what they're trying to get to, but just feeling that and seeing it. So he's made great strides this fall camp.
Going to jump from the line to the back end. Dakota is the veteran. Dante Carrier-Williams obviously has played. Madison Cone has played, but some younger guys. It's been an interesting mix and match. You've wanted to see various groups out there, right, at the corners or even at the safety spot at times.
We have, and a lot of guys have gotten work, and really it was going to be kind of who was able to do it at a consistent level, and that's where I think Caesar Williams kind of separated himself, and Fayon Hicks had a heck of a camp, and young Deron Harold came in as a receiver. When we recruited him, we really thought here's a really good athlete, and started at receiver, and then had an opportunity, and just even growing from what he did in spring to fall camp, where I think he's feeling comfortable and confident with it, and Dante Burton and Reggie Pearson, we got some true freshmen right there. Travion Blaylock's and some, that's at the safety spot. But it's a good group, and you've got more numbers in it, and I think it's about them being consistent. There's a group that has been that consistent player each day, and that's good to see.
Scott Nelson, another safety alongside Dakota. I guess he was pretty smart last year. He watched Dakota on and off the field, how he conducted himself. That's a pretty good guy to latch on to, I guess.
It's a great one. I think it's Dakota's version of giving back, right? Because Michael Caputo took him under his wing, and then, as you know, he and Leo Musso were connected at the hip, and whether Scott wanted to or not, that was going to be his lot in life. He was going to be with Dakota, and you know, I think Eric Burrell, Seth Kearns, you know, a guy that's done a lot of stuff on special teams, but he's progressing in it. So I like that room, and I like what they've been doing, and obviously, you know, Jimmy's been doing a great job with them, but I think it's a group that you could see them gaining the confidence, and the real confidence came when they could just trust themselves.
The linebacking core, it's a group of names that are more familiar, I think, to Badger fans. A guy who became familiar was Andrew Van Ginkel.
Right.
Give us a sense of how he has progressed in his time. Obviously made huge plays late in the year, but there's probably a lot more to it than that impresses you coaches.
There is, and what I've enjoyed too is, you know, when he came last year, you know, he was getting to know this team, and now you see the way that he interacts with the team, and you see his personality come out, and certainly, like you said, you know, big plays, and has continued to do that, you know, in spring ball and certainly in fall camp. You know, he's around it, and I've loved where he's at, and he had a great summer of preparation. I think so. He's going in with confidence. He's not going in, geez, I wonder if I can. I think there's tremendous confidence in where he's at, and it's been great with Zach Bond. You know, having Zach back and him feeling really completely healthy, and he's a talented football player, and we've got good depth, you know, behind them, and Tyler Johnson, Christian Bell's had a good camp, and so, you know, like you said, maybe the names aren't as familiar to people, but we really do like that group.
You mentioned Bond here. We have less than a minute in the segment here. You think back of a couple years ago in a game, I think it was against Ohio State here, where he showed up a lot. Now it probably goes deeper than that, but here there's someone, if he can, knock on wood, stay healthy, he could be a pretty good one here, couldn't he?
He does, and you know what I've appreciated from Zach right now is that it was taken away, you know, and he's watching, and so he's having fun playing, and he knows what it's like to not be able to play, and so that's fun to see and be around, and then you see him doing it at a really high level, and you know, you kind of build on what you do, and you know, I think they've done a great job. The one coaching change we had was with Bobby April at the outside backers, and he's done a great job with the group, and they've responded favorably to him. So I like that where they're at, and I think they're going to continue to grow.
All right, the games begin on Friday night, 8 o'clock kick here at Camp Randall as the Badgers take on Western Kentucky. Still to come, we'll hear from one of the best running backs in all of college football, Jonathan Taylor, and the coach also returns later for, of course, the first installment this season of the Great Day and Great Question of the Week.
Your testimony will save lives. This is your new name. This is your new house and a perfectly inconspicuous SUV. You must become invisible.
I'll take my chances.
The reimagined Audi Q5 is here.
Lease the Audi Q5 for $459 per month, and Audi waives your first payment.
Did you know there's a Mahindra for everyone and every job? Test drive and save during Harvest Demo Days. Like a 6075 four-wheel drive, a 9125, a 2538 or 2638 HST, and a 1526 or 1626 HST. And test drive Mahindra's utility vehicles too, only from the world's #1 selling tractor, Mahindra. Hurry in for the best savings of the year at your Wisconsin Mahindra dealer.
It's Nissan's bottom line model year-end event. Get big clearance savings on the last of our 2018s. Like Rogue. With available Pro Pilot Assist.
Get a low $199 per month lease on Rogue, or get 0% financing for 60 months on 13 models.
But hurry, the bottom line and our 2018s are almost gone.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
definitely wasn't expecting, you know, to have that season that I had. So, you know, it took me by a little surprise. But now that, you know, I've seen that, you know, went over and watched the film, I've seen, you know, how I could have gotten so much more better.
He's the same guy every day, every week, whether he rushes for 100 yards or whether he rushes for 70. And you're going to get the same guy. And so you get a young man like that, it's kind of refreshing because he's not about the headlines and the papers and that type of thing. He wants to contribute, and he wants the Badgers to win.
It's actually kind of shocking how humble he is sometimes and how hard he works, even though all this, you know, this press and everything's around him, so much hype. But you know, he's still the same old JT, and I think that's one of the things that's going to help him in the long run.
But Taylor's focus now is following up on the most rushing yards ever for a freshman. To do that, he's growing, adding to his skill set.
We all know how good he is in the run game, but he wants to be just as good in the pass game. So he's taking it upon himself to work, to learn the protections. You know, he and Coach Chryst spend time individually doing routes.
He's the guy, he's calling plays. So you get an insight, you know, how he wants things to be ran, how he wants certain routes to look. Getting that one-on-one time with him, you get an understanding of what's going on in his mind, and now it's just a matter of showing that you're capable of doing it.
The focus of opposing defenses is sure to shine even brighter on him this fall, so Taylor went to work in the offseason.
Coming into year 2, guys are going to expect you to try to get that 2,000 yards, so they're going to change the game plan up. They're going to be trying to, you know, subdue you, and now you got to attack it a different approach. I need to make sure that I'm in the most shape I've ever been in, be able to, you know, keep going, you know. Being as though I was in the base package a lot last year, you know, trying to get into that third down role, you know, you're going to be in the game more, so you have to make sure that, you know, you're in tip-top shape.
For the Badger Sports Report with Paul Chryst, I'm Jay Williams.
It's Nissan's Bottom Line Model Year-End event. Get big clearance savings on the last of our 2018s. Like Rogue. With available Pro Pilot Assist.
Get a low $199 per month lease on Rogue, or get 0% financing for 60 months on 13 models.
But hurry, the Bottom Line and our 2018s are almost gone.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
They are the ones who found a way to isolate a single prostate cancer cell hidden amongst a billion healthy blood cells. The ones pioneering advanced genomic testing in order to create personalized treatment protocols. They are the ones you want to talk to when the diagnosis is prostate cancer. They are the physicians and healthcare professionals at UW Health and the Carbone Cancer Center. UW Health. Remarkable.
The Learfield Directors Cup, the highly recognized mark of distinction in college athletics across all divisions, both men's and women's sports. Follow your favorite team's pursuit for excellence in this prestigious annual award through thedirectorscup.com, USA Today, or at L Directors Cup on Twitter or Facebook. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics since 1993.
The Badger Sports Report with Paul Chryst is presented by Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. Hy-Vee proudly supports the Wisconsin Badgers. And UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
Time for our first edition this season of the Great Dane Great Question of the Week, and it comes from Bill up in Boulder Junction, Wisconsin. Paul, once your thought, we go up north. We go up north for the first one. Your thoughts? They've tweaked the redshirt rule. A young man can play up to 4 games. It seems like a good rule. On the outside, from your perspective, what do you think?
It does seem like a good rule, and you know, we're trying to figure out exactly how to implement. I think the first thing you got to assess is you should never play someone until they're ready, and you know, that's very individual. And yet I think there are some positions, you know, on the lines it's a little bit harder to physically be ready, but there will be a number of guys I anticipate, not just for us but across the country, that you know will take advantage. And those 4 games don't have to be consecutive, so it's at any point. You know, a guy like Jack Cohen last year would have been a good example of, you know, maybe you wouldn't have played him in, you know, the 5th or 6th game because of it. But I'm excited because it just keeps the kids always working. And, you know, a lot of times you let them know right about this time, okay, it looks like you're going to redshirt, you're going to be redshirt ready. Now it's everyone just continue to work and develop and grow. And as the season progresses, you kind of see where they're at. And, you know, we were just talking about the other day when we're working a kickoff return, and our scout team, the look team was coming down, but we had some freshmen. And now every one of those things that they're doing, you're going to get a better look because they're practicing for what could be this year. So I like the rule. I think it's good for kids. I don't know exactly how it'll affect our team, but I think it's good for them.
All right, we thank you very much for your question. The Great Dane with the 4 locations in the Madison area, east side of town, downtown, Hilldale, as well as Fitchburg. And on your way to Boulder Junction, you can stop off at the Great Dane location in Wausau. Badgers open up Friday night, 8 o'clock kick here at Camp Randall against Western Kentucky. Join us next time as we review the opener and look ahead to game number 2 against New Mexico. Thanks for watching.
Did you know there's a Mahindra for everyone and every job? Test drive and save during Harvest Demo Days. Like a 6075 4-wheel drive, a 9125, a 2538 or 2638 HST, and a 1526 or 1626 HST. And test drive Mahindra's utility vehicles too, only from the world's #1 selling tractor, Mahindra. Hurry in for the best savings of the year at your Wisconsin Mahindra dealer.
Your testimony will save lives. This is your new name. This is your new house and a perfectly inconspicuous SUV. You must become invisible.
I'll take my chances.
The reimagined Audi Q5 is here.
Lease the Audi Q5 for $459 per month, and Audi waives your first payment.
A pulse, felt by one, sends a ripple, felt by some. A shiver, felt by many, until it amplifies, magnifies into a tremor that electrifies. Badgers everywhere, moving as one, tilting